assist in the preparation of the minutes and to ensure that a true and accurate account of debate and discussions of the meeting is available. West Coast Council acknowledges the traditional custodians on the land in which we gather today and pay respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Item 297 is record of attendance, apologies and leave of absence. We've got nothing in that space. Item 298 is financial interest declarations. At this part of the meeting, any councillor having a financial interest in any item on the agenda may declare it now or before discussions at that point on the meeting. Item 299 is confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting. That the minutes of the ordinary meeting of West Coast Council held at the Council Chambers on Tuesday, the 28th of October 2025, a copy of which having been previously circulated to councillors prior to the meeting be confirmed as a true and accurate record. Someone like to move that way, please. Move Councillor Butterfield, seconded Councillor Mackay. Put that to a vote. All those in favour?
Mayor, before you do, I'd just like to note that in the minutes, I acknowledge that we had dinner with the Governor and that it was a donation, and that was not mentioned. It was in the form but not included in the minutes, please.
Thank you, Councillor. We'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Against? One against?
No, I wasn't here.
I wasn't here either last month, so I'm not allowed to.
So how do I vote if being true and accurate if I wasn't here?
That's correct. We don't need to vote on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so 6, yeah. So we're still carried here. So we had 2 councillors, one here and one voted against. Okay, item 299A, which is missing off the agenda, is public participation and question time. Member of the public may give a written notice, which you haven't got any written. No. Also, 15 minutes of meeting set aside for questions to be asked by members of the public. Questions and answers. Sorry, to questions may be not be debated. Also, if people are asking a question, please give your name and address before asking the question. Open for public question time.
Ron Morrison, Storm. I'd like to ask the council regarding a petition that was hand delivered to the council chamber 7 days ago, and it acknowledge receipt of the folder given to the general manager containing the petition, and why isn't the petition on the agenda for tonight?
General Manager, you'd like to?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have acknowledged receipt of the petition. I will actually be writing to you, Ron. I've got it scheduled for the meeting on the 9th of December.
The reason why it wasn't in this agenda?
The reason why it wasn't in this agenda, there's a couple of things I've got to clarify with you, which I'll be writing to you about.
So, effectively, that will delay, won't it, like you've had it for 7 days. And really the council should have received it at this meeting.
I have received it, and I have 21 days to statutorily respond to you, which I intend to do. And I've got it on the agenda for the 9th of December.
Okay.
Any other questions from
Chris Angos from Queenstown. When will the Queenstown Amateur Swimming Club be notified of the final call hours for the upcoming season, given that lessons begin next week on Tuesday, the 2nd of December?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. The notification will go out later this week. I sent an email earlier today in relation to confirming those hours with the manager of facilities. I'll be chasing it up first thing in the morning.
So I have some information. So we have NPH 3 lifeguards, and they will be given training next week. So most likely in the second week of December, they can start, working as a lifeguard and the big function of the swimming pool.
How will this affect the swimming club given that we're meant to start lessons next week?
Okay, and that I should have to.
Three, Mr Mayor, the circumstances are that currently a number of our staff that are permanent essentially will be able to cover that. I understand Matt Dean's been going to be able to do that work for you, so that the full lessons can progress, right, which we understand is always at the beginning of the season.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, you may.
The second question I have is, does council have a traffic management plan for the stormwater front? And if so, is it possible for anyone of the public to see it?
General Manager.
Through you, Mr Mayor, there is a working document attached to the project. I don't know whether it's specific in relation to a full-blown traffic management plan. As you're aware, there's different circumstances in relation to managing the pedestrian access, which has been created while the project's been actually underway, particularly in relation to car parking. But I can certainly follow that up for you, right?
No, it's not up for me to debate, but my concern really is the traffic on the Storm Walk in close proximity with the tourists. Do you have a copy of that management plan here at the office?
If you're asking specifically in relation to the waterfront project itself, there's elements of that project that are proceeding in a different sequence, particularly in relation to the fuel relocation. That is compromising to a certain extent some of the traffic movements on the working wharf at this point in time. But I can certainly share with you those details, but I'd have to go and find it. Yeah.
So if I came in tomorrow into the office, would I be able to view that traffic management?
I will certainly chase it up, and I can correspond with you and let you know whether I've got it or not, but I know it's attached to the project plan itself.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you. No other questions? Thank you. Okay, item 300 is council raised issues and information. We have a motion on notice. Councillor Ovanicki.
Yes, did you want me to? Oh, okay, hang on, sorry. Document.
Sorry, I'll
That's
read
all
it out if you like.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I'd like it to be
The
different.
motion from Councillor Ovanicki, the West Coast Council resolves to write to the Premier and appropriate minister in support of neighbourhood houses, Tasmania, request for an increase in adequate funding to provide for the surge in demand for their services. And there's a background there and rationale from Councillor Ovanicki. I guess, so councillors, we have a seconder for that motion to start with. Seconded Councillor Mackay. Open for discussions, councillors.
I'd like to speak to the motion if
Yes.
I would, please. And I apologise, it was in last month's agenda, but I was very unwell, so I couldn't attend the meeting. So I'm bringing this motion forward because the well-being of our community is directly tied to the strength of our neighbourhood houses. On the West Coast, these houses are not nice extras, they are essential services. They help people navigate health and mental health systems, access housing support, manage rising living costs, and they provide critical food relief. They also offer the social connection that keeps isolation at bay in a region where remoteness is already a challenge. But demand has surged and funding has not kept pace. Without adequate investment, programs that our residents rely on, like school holiday activities, community cafes, food pantries, and events like the Mental Health Expert, are genuinely at risk of being reduced or lost altogether. And when that happens, the gaps don't disappear. So there is still a need, and the community and potentially the state government may look to council to plug those gaps. We could be expected to fill service shortages at a cost we are neither funded nor resourced to absorb. So supporting neighbourhood Houses Tasmania's request for increased funding is not only aligned with our community plan and our health and wellbeing strategy, it is a practical step to safeguard livability, social inclusion and the resilience of our region. And I urge councillors to support this motion so that our neighbourhood houses can keep doing the vital work that holds our community together.
Thank you, councillor. Any councillors want to speak for or against the motion?
I'd just like to speak in favour of neighbourhood houses and acknowledge the gaps that they fill in our communities, and that they are, and as Councillor Albanese said, they're not nice to have, they're essentials to have. And I think if we lost those in our community, as Councillor said, there'd be a big gap to fill. And yeah.
Any other discussions, councillors, before we put it to a vote? Put it to a vote then. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, another motion on notice. Councillor Hamer.
I'd like to put forward that the West Coast Council resolve to promote and endorse lifting the tone. The background is Local Government Association and Legat, Central Coast Council and other councils have all endorsed the lift the tone and taken the pledge as West Coast Council moving forward. I believe we should endorse this as well. For your consideration, councillors, and supporting documents, other rationale, please see Legat and Local Government Association web pages. Those that went to the conference, you would have seen up against the wall, it was quite moving really, and I think that we should lift the tone. If we don't know what lift the tone is, we should make it our business to all know what that is. As I say, lift the tone downloads available, our endorsement, and Legat website.
Okay, so the motion's moved by councillor Hamer. The seconder for that motion, please. Seconded, councillor Jordan. Okay, open for discussions, councillors, for or against the motion. So from my point of view, I think it is certainly something which we should be endorsing. It is something which all councils around Tasmania have been asked to endorse. It is a lot of councillors and staff have copped a raft of, I guess, misinterpretation by the community around the position that they hold, and have copped a lot of negativity. This lift the tone is around trying to promote, that councillors are local residents in our community and shouldn't expect to be pulled through the ringer on social media. Some of them have done. And also the fact is that other councillors also do affect the lives of councillors themselves. So it's not just around lifting the tone of the community, it's also lifting the tone of councillors and how they interact with other councillors also. So it is a big deal, and the media will start very shortly around that lifting the tone. So I think we should be on board with endorsing this motion, councillors. Any other discussions for or against the motion, councillors? No, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, we have another motion on notice from councillor Hamer.
That the West Coast Council resolved to invite Frank Barter to review his report from 12 months ago. It would be a good exercise to see where we are positioned from the last report. Rationale, as we've adopted the Frank Barter report, it would be beneficial from a business perspective to ensure we're moving forward in the right direction. Supporting documents, you've all read Frank Barter report. They were recommendations, not suggestions, and I think we'd be beneficial in reviewing what he said 12 months ago.
Okay, councillor Hamer's moved the motion. Have we got a seconder for the motion, councillors?
Yeah, I'm second for discussion, Mayor.
Seconded, councillor Stringer for discussion. Open for discussion, councillors. Any discussion for or against the motion? No
I don't
discussion.
have any issue on it, so if we invite him back, obviously, he would have been paid for the first time round to do the report, I take it? So, it's not like he'll come back for free, is he?
No,
no.
Do we have the capacity to fund that?
That's, it's currently not budgeted for through you, Mr Mayor. Yeah.
Is there anything in, like, internal processes that could give a report based on how we tracked against that actual report?
Through you, Mr Mayor, we can certainly do that once council considers its annual report, which is a few weeks away.
Yeah.
Happy to do that once I get an annual report down, and then you can actually go back and you can compare a number of annual reports moving through time.
I think Mr Barner's report was a very negative report and painted a very negative picture that may not necessarily have been there. And I think that we've made changes and shown improvements in our position since then. And I think that we headed in the right direction from the changes we've made.
Agree 100%, Deputy. It didn't take into account any of the decisions that we made to give the community significant remissions and significant assistance during the COVID period. Those assistances were on the basis that it was a loan, it wasn't something that was a handout, and it was made very clear at the time that those things had to be clawed back when times got better. Bartra took none of that into account. Bartra also said that we'd be looking at a minimum of 15% increases in rates to bring it back into a surplus budget. We've done it with less than a 6% rise this year. There you go. So there was a lot of information in that report that was left out. The report was financially incorrect. Its projections were based on false assumptions. And frankly, if he came back, I'd ask him to apologise to the community. That's my opinion.
Thank you, councillor. I think from my point of view, the fact that it was to paint a negative picture around trying to set up amalgamation, or us to amalgamate with another council. I think that's where it was going, and that was not what we and the community wanted at the time, and we were totally against that. So I think, it's the report itself was negative and certainly did not pose any substantial progress for us as a council.
I'd like to say that, the report, as you said, Kerry, it really was based on assumptions.
Yes.
So assumptions of the West Coast as a dying region, which we know is not true. Look at all the projects that are coming on board in the next 5 years. Yes, we can compare it to our annual report, but we have to remember that we've got all of these projects coming online, and that's going to change pretty much everything. We're just this report's looking in hindsight, but not looking down the road.
Okay, any other discussion, councillors, for or against the motion?
Mayor,
Yes.
I believe the report shows out-of-date figures and facts within it. Our population decline has not declined, it's stagnated. And we can see that from figures now that population is starting to slightly increase, as we saw on the weekend with the gap figures. So I just see the data as out of date currently.
Thanks, councillor. Okay, no other discussion. We'll put that to a vote. All those in favour of the motion?
It's me. Sorry.
All those against? Against. The motion lost. Thank you, councillors. Okay, item 301 is Mayor and Councillor diaries and communications. Council resolve.
Questions without notice?
Mr Mayor, questions on notice as well. It's not in there.
Okay, we've got a question on notice. Sorry. Any questions on notice? Yes.
I'm just asking where we're at with the gym equipment in Strawn.
Thank you.
Through you,
Mr.
Mayor,
Mayor.
sorry, Scott.
In relation to gym equipment, my understanding it's due to be implemented this week. I can certainly follow that up with Matthew. He advised the other day that it was due to be completed by the end of the month.
Lovely, thank
So
you.
from the last workshop, we put the heat on him to make sure that if some of the items weren't available, to bring what items they had and get it installed into the gym.
Lovely,
So
that'd be great.
I'll just check to see whether that's actually happened or not.
Um,
If not, we've still got a couple of days left in the week.
That'd be lovely. I'll relay that to the people that have asked, so thank you. I've just got one more, sorry.
Can I just follow on from your question?
Yes, go on.
He also might like to check the door in between from the foyer to the actual gym. It will not shut.
Right.
And there is some gym equipment that has arrived.
So the door between the,
Where you enter into the gym.
Yep.
Where that door jammed.
Yep.
That is completely, that will not close at all.
through Mr. Mayor, I'm aware that's been listed with the builder on the defects and liability period, because Matthew raised that with me when we were down there. He said, I'll follow that up, but I'll check it as well.
That's, yes.
Yeah, look, I've had a few complaints over one, telecommunications. We got people in Queenstown that it's spasmodic with their phones, drawn around the West Coast, and the radio stations, ABC and 7XS, are really lacking the signals, not even in your car on some days, and nor in the homes it's drawn. So is there a problem with the radio stations?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I know everybody's been experiencing poor service from Telstra. Even myself, there's been outages where can't even get a signal in the office and we're a stone's throw from the tower. So certainly happy to follow that up.
Perhaps maybe a letter at some point. The only reason I say that it's starting to get really dangerous. We've got people that are ill in the communities, and to call Triple O, they've got to go to SOS emergency, and that's not even really working that well either. So hit and miss. Thank you.
Up to you.
The communications minister was saying nationally the other night that some service providers have simply stopped providing it on some of the old service platforms. Some of the old phones there's plenty of them still in our community, simply will not work. Triple O does not work anymore. So that, in other words, you must update your phone if you want to use Triple O, which is just disgraceful.
No offence. This is a new phone, I can't even get it.
It's just terrible.
So the round table that we sat in recently, which Western Strategic Partnership about at the workshop with Telstra, they understand there is an issue here on the West Coast, and they are working through that. And a lot of that funding, that $16 million that they require for that upgrades on the West Coast, which they'll approaching the next round of telecommunication funding to assist with that. But it's around the capacity of our system on the West Coast. They haven't got the capacity with the amount of people that are using the services.
Through Mr. Mayor, also, they put the round table, they identified that if you don't have an iPhone 14 or that generation on, you can't use their text to satellite service. And I think that's where the challenge is. A number of the service providers are actually backing out of supporting current handsets. One would assume that if you purchase a phone, you could always be able to ring Triple O, but that is obviously not materialising in a number of different places.
Through you, Mayor, there's a whole heap of Samsung phones that are on the list, but those result in the 3G network being turned off, and an appropriate firmware update hadn't been done on those phones to account for that.
Yep. Some
models can't be updated, so they're off the list. And that included a couple of recent models.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.
Councillor McKay,
Hello.
question without
Question without notice, banking services on the West Coast. Following attendance at the recent local government conference in Hobart, I had the opportunity to speak with representatives from Westpac regarding their renewed commitment to supporting regional Australia. Westpac has publicly confirmed a strategic shift to reinvest in regional areas, including the opening of a new regional service centre in Smithton, and has highlighted the need for face-to-face banking support for personal, business and agricultural customers. Given the recent closure of Bendigo Bank, the final remaining bank on the West Coast, and the increasing difficulty residents and businesses now face in accessing essential banking services, can the GM investigate and initiate discussion with Westpac regarding the possibility of establishing a regional service centre on the West Coast?
Thank you, councillor. General Manager.
Through you, Mr Mayor, more than happy to follow that up.
Just also with regard to that, we're waiting to meet with the Bank of Us CEO around banking solutions for the West Coast also.
Through you, Mr Mayor, councillor, can I have that wording for the minutes? Please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, councillor. Any other questions without notice, councillors? No other motions without notice? No. Okay, we'll keep moving then. Item 301 is Mayor and Councillors' diaries and communications. For noting, the council resolved that the Mayor's and Councillors' diaries and communications as presented be noted. Any questions on any of that, councillors?
Yeah, through you, Mayor, where I suggested it was in the minutes of the last meeting, it's not, it's here in this agenda. The exclusion of the gifts and donations. The dinner with the governor, I've written it in my form this morning, so it's actually, sorry, not in the previous minutes.
Okay. Yep. No other discussions, councillors? Okay. Keep moving then. Item 302 is council workshops. For noting, the council resolved to note the following workshops were conducted by council since the last ordinary meeting. So the 11th of November we had regional RV strategy, gym equipment and repairs, Headley Fall Park action on the works to be completed, action item list, open and closed, financial and in-kind policy briefing from staff and WorkSafe Tasmania briefing. And then today we had Philip Reid and Sid Sidebottom from CCA, discussion about the Western Regional Strategic Partnership, and then some discussions on meeting and workshop dates for 2026, Target Tasmania and Spirit Awards. Any discussions on that, councillors? Okay, item 303 is for noting, council resolved that the status report action item of open meeting decision to be received. Any discussions on any of them, councillors? No? Okay, we'll keep moving then. Item 304 is the general manager report. That the general manager report as presented be noted. Someone like to move that way, please. Move councillor Hamer, second to councillor Ivanicki. Put that. Any discussions on the list? Yes.
All right, under organisational performance on page 31, just a query about the council facilities hire. It says there was 2 hires of the Rosebery Soccer Ground for $3,700 odd. I just wondered what that was for. It didn't look like an in-kind, but it says Rosebery Soccer Ground. No.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I'd have to take that on.
Okay.
Yeah, just to sort
Yeah,
it
we
out.
had a specific
Not a problem, it's just
Be the playing field.
football ground.
that's what I thought.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I was in the community a few weeks back and they had things marked out for athletics carnival. So that may be what it was. But I'll go and clarify that.
All right, and still on page 31, the smart locks, really good to see those reports. Lots of things we can use that for. But I am wondering if we'll have a timeline for when the Rosebery and Tulla gyms will be added to the Unlock the West Coast app.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I'll certainly follow that up with Bill. I know he's working on a rollout strategy, but I'll have to clarify the dates.
And kind of part B to that question is, can we still get the stats for those still using the old card system? I know I use
This
the
is why you're trying to beat me to these questions.
All right. So I only had one other question. My next question is on page 80 about the pool opening hours. I think that's still, is that still in general manager's report, or do I have it? I didn't write it down. Is that still in GM report, the survey and everything? No.
Survey?
No,
No, sorry.
it's standalone, standalone item.
All right, well done. Thank you.
Councillor Mackay.
Why, thank you. Page 22, the data for the smart blocks. Having this data provided for council assets is welcomed, and it gives a clearer picture of the use of these assets, which makes it easier to plan for in the future. So I'd like to thank Bill and the team for the installation of those locks. It's great for the community to get those access, and obviously, as we can see by the amount that it's being used, how well that is working for us. Page 23, the lease of the craft area here in Queenstown, I'm presuming that will be renewed.
Mr Mayor, I'd certainly have to follow that up. My understanding is that we would directly engage with that user group.
Sorry.
Yeah, certainly follow that one up for you, councillor.
Page 26, we've got works there for Hogarth Falls. When we did our asset tour, we were unsure of how the arrangements fell for Hogarth Park. Is there any update for how that facility actually is managed?
Through you, Mr Mayor, no, it's on my list. Just jump with the gun a fraction, councillor.
Page 27. It is wonderful to see a hand dryer installed in our facilities so that we don't see the paper strewn throughout. So that's a congratulations to council there.
So have we, through you.
You are the next one.
So have we got a plan to roll that out in all other toilet facilities?
Through you, Mr Mayor, strategically as we go and address each asset, that is one of the key things we need to do so that reduces consumption and a whole lot of different things, reduces our cleaning costs, reduces materials costs, a whole lot of things. These were installed basically to primarily in Queenstown around sorting unconformity, because you can imagine chasing paper towel when you've got thousands of people in town. But yes, strategically over a period of time, as we use up our reserves, we'll essentially install these moving forward.
Yes, councillor.
Page 47, the data there on the curbside recyclables is down for this year to date compared to last year to date. So I'm looking forward after we had our assets to the sorting shed for that to be up and going, and then a proactive campaign by council to try and re-engage community to recycle where possible.
Very good, councillor. Any other?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Would I just be able to ask the update on the straw and slipway toilets and showers, whether we got to put any seats in there for our older users?
Through you, Mr Mayor, I'll have to take that one on notice and follow that up. Certainly, yeah.
I just got one question, if so I have a better understanding, just on page 33 of the commercial leases. The Strong North, we've got Open Energy, West Coast Wilderness Railway, and Motor Cruises. How does God River Cruises fit into that? Do they have a separate lease, or is that?
Through you, Mr Mayor, my understanding is that is they're the community group leases. We have a commercial lease in that space.
That's right. No, it's listed in the commercial leases. And that's why.
Yes, there is. Yeah. Original lease from Tasports.
Oh, I just didn't see it in there, there was,
Its expiry date is the 22nd, 2028. So right on the very bottom.
yeah, that's World Heritage Cruises.
Yeah.
What about Gordon River Cruises?
Gordon River Cruises. Good question. I'll ask that. Yep.
Just one more. How did we end up with a report from the unconformity, what council put in, or is that just another, is that for the next meeting or?
We haven't heard a report back from them as yet. It'll probably be a month or two after the festival before we'll receive a report.
Lovely, thank you.
Three, Mr. Mayor, back to the Deputy Mayor, in relation to, World Heritage, Gordon River Cruises, there should be one in that place. My understanding is that we still have an ongoing lease with them, but I'll follow that up.
Okay. Any other discussions on the general manager's report? No other discussion, we'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, item 305 is correspondence. For noting, the council resolved the correspondence both incoming and outgoing as presented be noted. There's only there for noting, there's no responses determined at this stage unless councillors feel that they.
Yeah, I'd say something that was in the letter from the Honourable Jim Chalmers, the Treasurer, to Anne Urquhart was interesting. A couple of things to note in that letter. A revelation that the Productivity Commission notes that this productivity growth has been shown to correlate with outcomes such as better goods and services, reduced poverty and healthy and safer lives. It's such a revelation. The one part that sparks my interest in that letter, though, is that the Economic Reform Round Table is going to look at things like, for example, on housing, would speed up supply, dealing with cost by encouraging modern construction methods. I also called for further work on speeding up approval decisions more generally, and including conditional pre-approvals. Be interested to see what Legat and the Department of Local Government have to say about that, because the Department of Local Government's processes in planning and building approval seems to be where the biggest loggerhead in getting approval through. So how they're going to institute a pre-approval process, it's interesting to me.
Three, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Grant. From my experience in New South Wales, there is a Section 68 approval. They treat the modular home as, for example, like a watermarked product. It's pre-approved if it's done to a certain standard. You have all the certificates and sign off for that. So essentially, you just lodge a certificate application with the local authority.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, it's 21 days, bang, you're done and they install.
There you go.
So it's something similar like that. I know the housing ministers are all getting together, trying to find pathways. That process is actually significantly ramping up in New South. Dare I say, in other spaces, we're likely to see that come. That means that there's going to be a shift to that modular housing process. And as we've all discussed, using AI and robotics to actually construct housing in a much quicker fashion, which means there needs to be a shift in the community and the construction industry around install rather than build in the weather. And, dare I say respectfully, moving like cars were originally manufactured by hand and then put into an assembly line process. So, there is movement. We're just waiting to see, as you pointed out, how that fits into the regulatory framework here in the state, because we don't have those pathways.
Get through the convoluted planning process.
Okay, councillors. Keep moving. Item 306 is Grace.
Just on that correspondence, it's got listed on the cover page the West Coast Visitors Centre report for October. I can't seem to find that in the agenda.
I don't think it's in there, councillor.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's actually included in the General Manager's report.
Whereabouts?
Right at the top, if I remember rightly. On page.
Page 28 then.
Yeah.
22, sorry.
Page 22.
Page 22. That's the smart application in the hall hire.
That's what my page 22 is as well. It's the smart application numbers of showers and toilets used.
It's on the second page after the manager's report. The Facebook engagement starts there. 21.
Yeah, not on my report.
It's not on my report.
Through Mr Mayor, I'll circulate that. It's obvious it's dropped into some and not into others.
So that after the update that was done, maybe, because you've got the written version.
Yeah,
so
I had to take one with me because I couldn't take my laptop.
that would have been the original. We'll get that circulated, councillor. Thank you.
And an amendment to the minutes.
Yes, certainly.
Oh, no, growth and changes there at the bottom. I've got it on page 49, councillor.
Yeah, that was, he was talking about the
Tourism one.
tourism one, the visitor information centre. Okay,
Courtesy of Dylan.
Dog's breakfast in the old, was it?
okay, item 306, growth and change acquittals. Recommendation is the council note this report and the attached acquittal from the Rosebery Development Association and also the Rosebery Neighbourhood House. So noting, councillor, any discussions on that, councillor?
It was good to see 60 people attended. That's really good project.
Yeah, no, it is good.
Also noted in their acquittal that they wrote the money's raised from that was to go towards another event, so I thought that was good with community groups, so they're using other events to help fund other events, so
Yeah.
good work.
It's good. Yep. Okay, we'll keep moving then. Item 307 is proposed council annual general meeting. The council recommendation is the council endorse the proposed date of the annual general meeting for the 9th of December 2024. Someone like to move that way, please? Move councillor Newman, seconded councillor Butterfield. We'll put that to a vote. All those in favour?
We were late for the 8th, are you Tuesday the 8th?
That was 2026.
This
This
is
is 2025.
Sorry.
Through Mr Mayor.
So we're okay to put that to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, item 308 is for noting. On the community feedback summary for the West Coast Swimming Pool Opening Hour Survey. The recommendation is that council notes the report and the attached community feedback summary. Any discussions on that, councillors?
Yes.
Yes, councillor.
First of all,
Councillor
fantastic amount of responses. I don't think I've ever seen that in a council report. And the way that it was displayed was really easy to read. So whoever put that together, thank you very much. What jumped out at me is that the community's clearly requesting some changes to opening hours for lap swimming. That was mentioned numerous times. That's what stood out to me. But however we got this out, I'm sure the swimming club had a lot to do with it. Getting responses, that's fantastic. I'd love to see that number again.
No, very good. Yes, no, and I guess it is, something which we haven't done in the past, is ask the community what times, opening times they wanted, so it's good that we were able to get the feedback from the community. And hopefully we can move in that direction.
Very
Sounds like we've got the lifeguards available now, so. And we have got, as General Manager said, we have got permanent staff that can fit them positions as well.
Through you, Mayor.
Yes, councillor.
Whilst I appreciate and welcome the community engagement, and especially with the Zoom facility coming online this season, which is welcome sight for the community, there's no reference in this document to the aquaculture facilities strategy of 2017. And I thought there would be some reference there, as there was extensive consultancy done. I just thought that would tag team more into it because of all of the data and documentation that was made in that report.
Agree, Mr. Mayor. Can you just remind me what year that would have been?
2017, it's in diligent in our resources.
2017.
Good point, councillor. Well, I guess it's, that is 8 years ago as well, so our community has changed and our demographics of our community have changed as well, so it's good to get that feedback from our local people now that are here today as well. But yes, no, should reference that strategy as well. So it was put on the table to work through our pools. So yeah, good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, any other discussions on that survey, councillors? That was for noting. Okay, great outcome there, I think. Item 309 is a report on audited roads to recovery grant as of the 31st of December 2024. The recommendation is that council receive the final audit roads to recovery program report for the period ending the 31st of December 2024. Bit late, but better late than never. It's the audit, Tasmanian audit panel, so they work fast. Someone like to move that way, please? Move councillor Stringer, seconded councillor Graham. Open for discussions, councillors.
Well, the audit findings are appropriate. Isn't that the epitome?
Yes.
So of telling someone how you're going to do it, that you're going to do it, how you did it, and that you did a good job of it. What a jag. Anyway, they found that we managed it well.
Yes. Any other discussions, councillors? Put that one to a vote. All those in favour? Against? One against. Okay, thank you, councillors. Item 310 is event sponsorship 70th Queenstown Lions Lady Fun Day. Recommendation is council approve cash funding of $1,000 event sponsorship for the 7XS and Queenstown Ladies Fun Day event. Someone like to move that way, please?
Before we do, isn't that a conflict of interest on your behalf? Being that Sue's the Secretary Treasurer,
Not me.
it's your wife.
Doesn't matter. It's not me. And I'll declare an interest if I've got an interest. It's not up to another
Fair enough.
councillor.
I just thought I'd ask in case you.
It's not up to another councillor to determine. if
No,
I've
I
got
just
an
thought
interest.
you may have
Someone like to move that way, please, councillors. I'll move councillor Butterfield, seconded councillor Graham. Open for discussion, for or against councillors.
Well, they've raised a few dollars, leading up to this, haven't they? They've done very well.
Yeah, I think they've done that. It's also been supported by the West Coast Radio Station as well.
Yeah.
To do that, so it becomes while it's in Queenstown, it's a West Coast event for any West Coast family that want to go. From my reading of the policy, it's separate to the one-off Christmas parade policy, and we have plenty in the fund, and I'd be happy to support a day for younger people on the West Coast.
Yeah. What a sentiment.
Okay, any other discussion for or against councillors? Put that one to a vote. All those in favour? Against? One against. Thank you. Cancels. Okay. Item 310 is, sorry, no, it'll be 311, is the noting the use of the common seal, which all have been listed there, councillors. Any discussions on any of that? No? Okay. Item 312 is matters proposed for a closed meeting. And the recommendation that items 313.25 to 321.25 discussed by council in closed session. Someone like to move that way, please? Move councillor Newman, second to councillor Ivaniki. Put that to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, we're going to close meeting. Thank you very much for sitting there patiently.